Top, we want to mention something that I don't think has been announced as yet, not in the general media. You're now, John, one of 20. You're down to the list of 20, the very short list to make it to NASA as one of our Canadian astronauts.
That's right. They made the announcement yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And you're pretty excited.
Oh, really excited. My feet haven't touched the ground since I got the call.
You don't need a helicopter or anything today.
No.
Well, it started out, John, 5,300 applicants in Canada. What prompted John McManus to send in his name?
Well, I saw the application in the Chronicle Herald. I was good at going through, and I saw pictures of people doing manned extravehicular activity. They had a picture of a guy in an astronaut suit recovering a satellite. And I looked and I thought, I could do that. As a matter of fact, I'd like to do that. And they had a certain set of requirements, and each time I went through, I said, well, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. So I thought, well, I'll throw a resume together. I didn't have one because I'd never applied for a job, having been in the military my whole life, and just sent it in.
And you just sent it in?
Mm-hmm.
And did you think sort of that it was a bit of a lark when you knew that there'd be thousands?
Yes, I did. I thought that the competition will be really stiff, and I didn't have a PhD, and a lot of people that have flown have had PhDs, and I thought that if I sent it in, at least I would know when I saw the shuttle flying over on TV that I'd taken a shot at it. If they'd said no, well, I could say, well, I did my best and I didn't get selected.
Well, you know, you're not nervous at all about flying or about the space shuttle, or at least I'm assuming that.
That's right.
You didn't get deterred by that terrible accident a few years back.
No, I didn't. I fly Sea King helicopters out of Shearwater. I've done that for 4 flying tours, basically 15 years. And if I was afraid of flying, I wouldn't climb in a Sea King every day to go flying.
Are you going to tell me a Sea King is more or less dangerous than the space shuttle?
Well, I think of the shuttle as a pretty modern vehicle as compared to the 60s vintage Sea King.
Well, let's talk about what you do if you do get selected, and we do have some visuals that we'd like to bring up. People have seen this before. Recently, the recovery of the satellite. Now, you tell me that you might be involved in something like this. We have it here on the monitor right now. Is that the type of thing?
That is the kind of thing. As a matter of fact, the people that you see there in the visuals are all mission specialists. And the Canadian astronaut program so far has not had any mission specialists. Both of the people that have been selected to fly so far, as in Mark Garneau and Roberta Bondar, have been payload specialists. So they're limited to doing scientific research in space. Mission specialists are the people that repair satellites, rescue satellites, as we all saw, repair tiles on the shuttle, repair engines, do extravehicular activity. They work the Canadarm. It's ironic that no Canadian has yet been allowed to work the Canadarm, even though we provided it.
Do you know now with the 20 that you're now on the short list with, the other 19, all similar? Do you know anything about their chances or their backgrounds?
Well, I know a little bit about them because I did meet at the 50 level. We got to meet each other. We had a press conference in Montreal and we all got introduced. And they all have very diverse backgrounds. Some are research people, some are practical. There's military test pilots. There's all sorts of people from industry, from academic life. It's just a complete broad mix. It must be very difficult for the space agency to compare them because it's apples and oranges. Everyone has strong backgrounds, but in different areas.
We just showed some shots as well of outer space, some that were simulated in animation. But you're excited about that aspect of it too? I mean, it sounds like you go up there if you make it, and you'll be doing a lot of work.
I think so, right.
But what do you think, when you think about it, do you think about, gee, seeing the Earth from that perspective?
Oh, it must be great. As a matter of fact, I was watching the recovery when the 3 mission specialists were catching the satellite, and I saw the Earth rotating underneath, and I thought, what a vantage point. It didn't seem to affect them at all. Their only concern was getting their mitts on that satellite, but you could see in the background the Earth rotating, and what a view. You could see the oceans, and you could see India show up, and I just thought, what a view.
Yeah, what a view, right. Are you allowed to take a little camera?
I hope so. Well, they got a lot of cameras on the shuttle, so I'm sure there's lots of documentation that comes back after every flight.
What will happen to your family life if you do get selected? And you'll know it next month, won't you?
Yes. They'll make the announcement of the final 4 to 6 in the first week of June. Well, there's a couple of ways that my family life could go. I could either move to Ottawa and be part of the Canadian Space Program, and I would wait then to get selected as a payload specialist, as the other astronauts have done for the last 10 years. Or this summer, there's actually going to be 2 Canadians that are going to go for mission specialist training in Houston. So if I were to be one of the lucky 2 selected, I would move from Nova Scotia to Houston, and family and all, because it's a 5-year program.
5 years. And since we have only really a few seconds left, I want to just touch on something I found interesting. Oceanography seems to be your background. That's a little opposite.
It is, except the main place where we're learning about oceanography now is in space. That's one of the major interests now, of sensing the ocean from the atmosphere. And on board the shuttle, there's a lot of experiments that have been done. And my thesis in Monterey, my postgrad thesis, dealt with information that was sensed from space. So that's where we're learning more about the oceans from space. So it's a natural progression.
All right, well, I have to let you go, but I want to wish you all the best, and I'm going to be keeping my fingers crossed. What's the date?
4th or 5th of June.
Boy, and if you're up there, I'm going to be watching that and taping it. Best of luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, John. John McMahon.